It's BS with Bob Schmidt here on today's Talk, 1490. 18 degrees now, 24 expected later on this afternoon. My next guest is like the continual middle guy. Bruce Hopman joining me this morning. The middle child syndrome, have you heard about it? America's leading and only middle child advocate, providing Oscar nominees a birth order breakdown. So let me ask you, I wanted to ask you this, Bruce, just to start things off. How many of the winners of the Academy Awards this past weekend were middle children?
I focused only on the best, the top awards, director, acting. It was a good year. 7 nominees were middle children, and 3, so only 4 could win. There's only 4 acting categories. There was no best director, middle child. And 3 of them won.
Well,
3 of them won. So Lupita Nyong'o won, Jared Leto won, and Cate Blanchett won. So that was 3 out of 4. It was a good night for middle children. Of course, then you got John Travolta coming out and treating Idina Menzel, giving her the middle child treatment. There, couldn't even remember her name. It's a total botched that one up. That was a nice little middle child moment there for the world to see. She's not a middle child, by the way, but now she knows what it feels like to be a middle child. So it was a good night at the Oscars for the middle children.
All right, I have to ask this because I'm the oldest child in my family.
Yeah, oh boy, here we go.
Are you being a whiner by being, I'm the middle child? Oh, poor, pitiful me.
Well, yeah, there's a little bit of that. Look, that's part of the perception of the middle child. This is why I formed the International Middle Child Union.
Uh-huh.
I formed this union to try to kind of dispel some of those myths and rumors about and stereotypes about middle children. Yet at the same time, I feel like I'm actually reinforcing all those stereotypes. But I'm trying. I'm trying to do what I can here. Nobody else is sticking up for us. So I figure if we all band together, if we have a union. Look, Middle Child's Day. We get,
that's Wednesday. It's Hump Day, dude. How could you possibly have anything better than Hump Day?
Right.
That's the middle of the work week.
You would think, but there's not even agreement on that. Look, I'm on Twitter a lot. You can follow me at MidKid Musings. I'm on Twitter a lot, and I'm monitoring what's going on in the middle child world. I've got my finger on the pulse of the middle child world. First of all, middle children hate being middle children. I mean, if you should see the things that they say about being a middle child. I don't think I can say them on air. I'm not that familiar with your show to go out on a limb there. But they are not saying nice things about being middle children. Nobody likes it. And then you always get these things. People are always comparing days of the week to, or cities to middle. Oh, Cleveland's like the middle child of Ohio, and and so forth. They can't even agree that Wednesday's the middle child of the week. People say, well, oh, no, it's a great day because I look forward to Wednesday because then I know the week is over. So why would that be the middle child? They say Tuesday. There are people that say Tuesday is the middle child of the week.
Well,
there was tweeting that Saturday is the middle child of the week, which makes no sense at all. But I think they're thinking, I can't even imagine why you would think Saturday was ever the middle child of the week.
Unless maybe you worked Wednesday through Monday.
Yeah, I don't get it. But there's not even agreement on that. But the one thing that's for sure is when somebody, middle child has almost become like a curse word. When somebody says you're acting like a middle child, they're not saying your behavior is.
You're
really
being kind and respectful. Isn't that what they mean? You're being kind and respectful, like the middle children should be.
Not at all.
Really? Because there's 3 people in 3 boys in my family. So let me just point this out. Okay, so there's 5 people total in my family, right, that I grew up in.
Okay, so there is a smack dab middle child.
So the actual middle of the family would be me as the oldest child, because there's 5. There's 3 brothers. No. Just listen. Hear me out. Mom and Dad are older. I'm the oldest kid. Then I got 2 little brothers. So I'm the middle. I am truly the middle child. However, my brother Frank is the middle of the children child. So in reality, if you're in a 5-person family, then the middle child would really be the oldest child.
You can't count the parents.
How can you not
children?
count that? Because it all boils down to what it's all about balance.
Whoa, you're turning this whole thing upside down. I mean, that's true. I mean, you even as an adult, you're a child.
Well, yeah, because we're always We're always going to be our parents' children.
Yeah, but I just don't think that's the way it works. This is the way it works, Bob. This is the way it goes. It's the attention that you're receiving from the parents, so they get removed from the equation. That's what forms. That's how middle child syndrome is caused, because the parents aren't giving one of the children as much attention as they gave the other children. So that's how I would break it down. I agree with you, though. Within the family, There are varying degrees of middle childness. There's a post at the blog, if I may promote the blog, smackdabblog.com. It's called A Study in Middleocrity. And it's not just, I used to think, look, I was a birth order bigot. I used to think a middle child was a family of 3, and the one in the middle was the middle child. If it was a family of 5, then it was just the one. It was the third born that was the middle child. That's really not right, because there's the firstborn, there's the lastborn, and then there's everyone in the middle. So
now it's everybody in the middle rather than just the one child? So if there's 15 kids in the family, then numbers through to 14 are all the middle children?
Exactly. Now within that, lots of things change. Like if there's a family of 13, they were probably born really close to each other. But let's say your brother was born 10 years later than you might not suffer the full impact of middle child syndrome as much as somebody who was born a year. So there's all different degrees. Look, if you go to the blog, smackdabblog.com, you will find out everything you never wanted to know about being a middle child there. But this middle child spectrum, I think, is an important thing.
So
it's not just...
How many siblings do you have in your family?
I am a smack dab middle child. I have an older brother and a younger sister. Now, that's actually the worst situation. If you're going to be in a family of 3 as a middle child, that's the worst one, because this is how it went for me. My parents had their firstborn child. Now, that's always a special place anyway. Being the firstborn, you're the woo, we got a baby.
Actually, being the oldest child, I am the person that everything got experimented on. Oh, we'll have Bob be home by 8:00 at night when he's a senior in high school. Oh, right, middle kid, and youngest kid got the world handed to him on the platter.
Now,
all the doors I had to bust down.
And Bruce. You know what I say, Bob? Form your own union. That's what I say. Go out and form. Stop. This is what the firstborns do. The middle child comes up with something. We're going to gang together. We're going to form together, and then the firstborn has to pull the rug out and say, we had it rougher. I'm not here to be adversarial.
Okay.
I'm sure firstborns have their issues, but firstborns don't have their own syndrome. I mean, there's no.
Well, listen to this.
You raise a good point. Firstborns have a set of common characteristics, as do middle children. How come it's middle child syndrome? How come there's no firstborn syndrome? Syndrome is like having a disease. It's not a good thing. So right there, you get that stigma, middle child syndrome. There is something wrong with being a middle child. Look, being in the middle is never really a good thing, right? I mean, you don't want the middle seat on the plane.
Malcolm in the Middle.
When you're lost.
Did you ever watch Malcolm in the Middle, the TV show?
Malcolm in the Middle, who I used to make the argument really wasn't a middle child because he wasn't. But then I've come around and realized, yes, he was in the middle. So yes, Malcolm in the Middle. There are famous middle children. There are Jim Brady, obviously famous middle child. But still, being just the middle has a stigma to it. Getting a call in the middle of the night, that's never a good thing. When a phone rings in the middle of the night, sex is a good thing. But if somebody calls you in the middle of sex, then all of a sudden it becomes a bad thing. So middle never is not good. So being a middle child carries some baggage with it. Even if you did get all the attention that your siblings got, still just being the middle, not good.
I don't know. I don't know if I believe it. I don't know if I'm buying into this. How was your life any worse than your older sibling or your younger sibling?
Here's and this just happened yesterday. It doesn't seem like a big deal, but while it's happening to you when you're a child, I don't think you realize it as much. When you get older and the more advanced stages of middle child syndrome, and you can reflect on your youth, you realize things.
Okay.
I was getting a pair of pants shortened yesterday. On top of everything else, I'm also not tall, and I was tying my shoes. Now how do you tie your shoes? Do you do the 2 loops and then a knot, or do you do the 1 loop?
I do it. Well, you first do the half a square knot. You go around
exactly.
once,
so
you do one little rabbit ear loop, and then you wrap the other one around and pull it in tight.
All right, so you do it like a grown-up, like a man, like a mature adult should tie their
like the oldest child would do.
Exactly. So I'm doing this thing, and there's people there watching. And every time I tie my shoes in front of somebody, I'm embarrassed because I still do the 2 bunny ears. I do bunny ear, tied in knot. It's like a 6-year-old. It's embarrassing, but that's how I learned to tie my shoe, because when I was a kid, my parents didn't have the time to teach me. I came home from summer camp one day crying because the counselor said they're not going to tie my shoes anymore. You have to learn how to tie your shoes.
Yeah, but you were 18 at the time, weren't you?
Well, yes, I was 19. Yes, I drove home from camp, and I said, you have to teach me how to tie my shoes. So it's little things like that you don't realize.
Hey, Velcro. Invest in Velcro shoes or slip-ons.
Yeah, I'm much older than I might sound, but Velcro wasn't invented when I was in summer camp. So that could have changed everything for me, right? If I would have just invented Velcro, we would not be having this. We'd be having a completely different conversation today. It might not be as much fun, but we'd be talking all about Velcro.
So how do we find out more about the poor, pitiful middle child?
Can give me a call. Now, at the blog. You can go to my blog. It's smackdabblog.com. You can follow me on Twitter at MidKidMusings. I'm always trying to take the distorted, the view of the world through the distorted lens of a middle child. Whenever there's a news event, the Super Bowl, I know people, look at the Super Bowl and they're looking at, defense versus offense. I looked at it and I was like, ooh, Russell Wilson's a middle child. Peyton Manning's a middle child. This is the middle child syndrome bowl. One of these guys is going to lose. One of them is going to be, whining and complaining about it. So, we also formed the Middle Child Party. I know Wisconsin, a lot of very political, environment there. I formed the Middle Child Party also back in October when the government was shut down, because my feeling was, who knows more about compromise and about not getting everything they want than a middle child? And that's the only way anything's going to get done in D.C. So I'm saying more middle children in government. That'll solve the problem.
Did you write a book, or are you a comedian or anything?
I'm trying to get a book published.
But you're a middle child, so of course there's going to be people.
Right.
You automatically got that going against you.
It's the middle child conspiracy. Right. It's a lot of the publishers are firstborns, and I'm running up against a lot of resistance, but I'm trying.
Okay.
Hey, look, let's get all the middle children in Wisconsin. Come to the blog. Follow me on Twitter. We get a little groundswell going. And then maybe I could get it at least published in Wisconsin.
Very good. Hey, happy middle of the week. It's Bruce Hopman. Thank you very much for joining us this morning on today's Talk 1490. 8:24 is the time. My name is Bob. Thanks for listening.